There's a sacred moment of silence right after you tell your boss a truly spectacular lie about why you're late. It's a moment filled with equal parts terror and pride. Today, we're not celebrating the people who are on time. We're honoring the creative geniuses, the unfortunate souls, and the downright weirdos who have turned tardiness into an art form. These aren't your average excuses. These are cries for help, disguised as explanations. 1. We start with a person who has achieved a level of self-sabotage that should be studied by scientists. The excuse, I locked my house keys inside my car, and my car keys inside my house. This isn't just an unfortunate event, it's a perfectly sealed, inescapable loop of idiocy you built yourself. You're standing on your own lawn, a prisoner of your own property, looking at 2 locked boxes containing the keys to your freedom. The only next move is to make the call of shame to a locksmith, who is going to look at you, look at the car, look at the house, and then charge you a special fee for witnessing such a spectacular failure of basic planning. 2. Here's one that suggests the brain simply refused to boot up for the day. I tried to open my office door with my house key and stood there for way too long wondering why it wasn't working. This is more than a simple mix-up. This is a prolonged, silent battle with a piece of metal and a lock. For a solid 30 seconds, you're not just trying a key. You're questioning the very fabric of reality. Has the key changed shape? Did someone replace the door? The slow, agonizing dawn of realization that you are, in fact, the problem is a truly humbling experience that guarantees you'll be useless for the first hour of work anyway. 3. Presenting a classic tale of man versus invisible barriers. I walked straight into a glass door and needed a moment to collect myself. The genius of this excuse lies in its sheer, unadulterated humiliation. There's the resounding thump that turns every head in the lobby, followed by that stunned recoil as your brain tries to process the sudden, violent rejection from a space that was supposed to be empty air. Collecting yourself is a polite way of saying you needed to check if your nose was still attached to your face and if your dignity had shattered into a million irreparable pieces. Everyone saw it. Everyone is judging. 4. This next one is a quiet, domestic horror story. I put the milk in the pantry and the cereal in the fridge, then had to sit down and reevaluate my entire morning. This isn't just being tired. This is your brain's operating system crashing in real time. You stare at the evidence of your malfunction, the cold, lonely cereal, and the slowly warming milk, and you understand that you have lost the day before it has even begun. Calling your boss at this point isn't about being late. It's about warning them that a person whose brain can't handle breakfast is about to attempt professional tasks. 5. A uniquely 21st century disaster. I dropped my AirPod and spent way too long trying to fish it out from under my car seat. That tiny, overpriced piece of plastic instantly becomes a mythical artifact, disappearing into the dark abyss beneath your seat, a realm of petrified French fries and mysterious sticky spots. You're twisted into a human pretzel, grunting and sweating, your fingers blindly searching the gritty floor carpeting. By the time you emerge, victorious but filthy, you've lost 15 minutes of your life and all sense of self-respect. All for the privilege of listening to a podcast on your way to a job you're now late for. 6. For anyone who relies on caffeine to function, this is a form of psychological warfare. I grabbed the wrong travel mug and didn't realize until I took a sip of day-old coffee. The anticipation builds, you lift the mug, and your mouth is assaulted by the taste of cold, stale liquid that feels like a personal betrayal. It's a flavor that combines regret with notes of yesterday's failure. Being late is no longer the main issue. The priority has shifted to recovering from this traumatic event and cleansing your palate before the bitterness consumes your entire personality for the day. 7. Here we have an excuse that's less of an excuse and more of a cry for help. I fell asleep in my driveway. You successfully completed the most arduous part of the morning routine, getting out of the house. You sat in the car, ready to engage in the soul-crushing commute, and your subconscious just slammed on the brakes. While your boss is probably picturing you in a ditch, you were simply having a surprisingly restful nap just feet from your front door. This isn't a sign of laziness. It's a sign your will to participate in society has officially flatlined. 8. Let's appreciate this story of a person being defeated by basic technology. My car wouldn't start because I was pressing the wrong button for 5 minutes. We're not talking about a complex sequence. We're talking about a single push-to-start button. For 5 agonizing minutes, this person was likely locked in a baffling duel with the volume knob or the hazard lights, convinced their car had suffered a catastrophic failure. The wave of pure, undiluted shame that washes over you when you finally locate the correct button is almost worse than being late. You just have to sit there for a moment, absorbing the sheer scale of your own incompetence. 9. This next excuse involves the most unpredictable force of nature known to man: a toddler. The reason for being late? My toddler hid my car keys in an undisclosed location. This isn't just a case of misplacing something. This is a hostage negotiation where the terrorist is 3 feet tall, communicates in screams, and has no rational demands. You are now an unwilling contestant in a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek where the rules are chaos and the prize is your job. Your keys could be anywhere: inside a stuffed animal, floating in the toilet, or being methodically smeared with peanut butter. The one place they will not be is anywhere a sane adult would ever think to look. 10. Then there's the excuse that blames our robot overlords for our own lack of awareness. My GPS took me to the wrong state. Now, technology can fail, but there's a certain point where you have to take some personal responsibility. If your job is in Ohio and you're seeing signs for "Welcome to Kentucky," maybe, just maybe, you should have started questioning the soothing voice from your phone about an hour ago. This excuse screams one of 2 things. Either you possess a level of blind faith that borders on delusional, or you subconsciously just really wanted to see what was happening in another state on a Wednesday morning. 11. Here's one every pet owner will understand on a spiritual level. My cat sat on me, and I didn't want to disturb him. This isn't laziness, it's adherence to the unspoken yet legally binding cat law. The moment a feline chooses your lap, you are no longer a person. You are a piece of living furniture, a human heating pad. To move is to break a sacred trust and invite a level of petty, silent revenge that can last for days. Trying to explain to a non-cat person boss that you were held captive by a 10-pound ball of fur and purrs is pointless. They don't understand the gravity of the situation. 12. For anyone who has ever driven in a major city, this is less of an excuse and more of a PTSD flashback. I got caught in a no-left turn nightmare and couldn't escape. Some intersections feel like they were designed by MC Escher after a particularly bad day. You're forced into an endless, spiraling purgatory of right turns, seeing the same weird billboard and the same dilapidated liquor store over and over again. You're not just late, you are fundamentally lost, trapped in a concrete labyrinth. The only escape is to admit defeat, pull into a random gas station, and weep silently over a map. 13. This one is a short but violent drama. I took a sip of coffee that was way too hot, and I had to sit there in silence while my soul left my body. There's a specific kind of agony that comes from scalding your entire mouth on what was supposed to be life-giving nectar. It's a full-body shutdown. Time stops. All you can do is sit there, mouth agape, making a sound like a deflating balloon as your brain reboots from the thermal shock. The real tragedy? After the pain subsides and you've accepted that your taste buds are gone for the week, you'll probably take another cautious sip. The addiction is just that strong. 14. Here's a brief but violent tale of betrayal by a beverage. I tried to drink from a new bottle of sparkling water, forgetting to twist the cap, and just squeezed it. This wasn't a gentle failure. This was a pressurized explosion of carbonated disappointment directly into my face. One second I was thirsty, the next I was soaked, my car smelled vaguely of lime, and my glasses were dripping with the evidence of my own incompetence. You don't just recover from that. You have to sit there, defeated and sticky, and accept that the universe has chosen you for its morning slapstick routine. 15. Some excuses are so unbelievable they have to be true. Case in point, I got stuck behind a slow parade on a Tuesday morning. You're already running late, you take a shortcut, and you turn a corner directly into a wall of sound created by a high school marching band and 3 people on a float celebrating the town's annual Rutabaga Festival. It's not rush hour traffic. It's a surreal, slow-moving spectacle of civic pride that has chosen your exact route to work. There is no honking your way out of this. You are now an unwilling spectator, Your day held hostage by a tuba player with acne. 16. And next is a story of betrayal from an unlikely source. I tried to leave, but my hoodie string got caught in my door handle, and I fully yanked myself backwards. You're halfway out the door, mind on the day ahead, when your own clothing commits a violent act of betrayal. Your forward momentum is brought to a sudden, jarring halt by a simple drawstring. You're snapped back like you're on a bungee cord attached to your own front door. It's a humbling, physically comical moment that proves the universe will always find new and inventive ways to remind you that you are not, in fact, in charge of your own destiny. 17. Here's an excuse for anyone who's ever felt personally victimized by urban planning. I hit every single red light and then got stuck behind the slowest driver in existence. This isn't just bad luck. It's a coordinated attack by the universe. You leave the house, and immediately every traffic signal in a 5-mile radius turns red just for you. Then, as a grand finale, you get trapped behind a beige sedan going 15 miles per hour in a 45 zone. You start having an existential crisis, wondering if you've somehow slipped into a parallel dimension where time moves at a glacial pace. It's a special kind of torment that makes you question your sanity. 18. Next, we have a testament to the dangers of human ambition. I tried to carry too many things at once and dropped everything like a walking disaster. We've all been there. You think you can make it in one trip? Coffee mug, laptop bag, lunch, keys, your will to live. It's a delicate balancing act that is doomed from the start. The moment one item starts to slip, a catastrophic chain reaction begins. Suddenly, your driveway is a crime scene littered with shattered confidence, spilled coffee, and the scattered remnants of your organized morning. You're not just late. You're the star of a one-person slapstick comedy no one wanted to see. 19. This one is a story of repeated failure that borders on performance art. I spilled coffee all over myself and had to go home to change twice. The first spill is an accident. Annoying, but forgivable. You go back, you change, you start over. But the second spill? That's not an accident. That's a message from the universe. It's a sign that you and liquids are not meant to coexist before 9 a.m. You just stand there, staring at the fresh brown stain on your clean shirt, and begin to wonder if you should be legally barred from handling hot beverages. By the way, if you're still watching, you're a champion. Comment halfway hero below. 20. For those in colder climates, this is a familiar winter nightmare. My car door was frozen shut, and I had to fight to get inside. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a full-on battle against nature. You're yanking on the handle with the force of a desperate powerlifter, chipping away at a quarter-inch of ice with your credit card, and looking like you're trying to break into your own vehicle in broad daylight. After 10 minutes of this undignified struggle, you're sweating, frustrated, and so exhausted that the idea of just going back inside and admitting defeat sounds like a tropical vacation. 21. This is a story of good intentions paving a road straight to unemployment. My toilet was running, so I looked up a quick YouTube tutorial on how to fix it. It started as a responsible 5-minute task, but the algorithm had other plans for me. One video led to another on common plumbing mistakes, which led to a compilation of catastrophic DIY fails. And 3 hours later, I emerged from the digital haze as an expert on the structural engineering of 19th century suspension bridges. The toilet was still running, and so was the clock on my career. 22. This is a scenario straight out of a public transportation horror movie. My shoelace got stuck in an escalator, and I had to perform an emergency escape. 1 second you're riding serenely, and the next, you feel a tug. You look down and realize the mechanical stairs are methodically consuming your footwear. A primal fear kicks in. Do you untie it? Do you sacrifice the shoe? Do you ride it all the way to the top and get shredded by the grate? The frantic, undignified hop and pull maneuver you perform at the last second is a moment of pure survival, leaving you shoeless but alive. 23. Here's a situation where the excuse is just raw, primal fear. A possum took over my garage, and I wasn't emotionally ready to fight it. You don't reason with a possum. You don't try to intimidate it. You open the door, lock eyes with a hissing, pointy-toothed creature that looks like it crawled out of a nightmare, and you immediately understand the pecking order. That possum has seen things you can't imagine, and it is not afraid of you. You slowly back away, close the door, and accept that the garage and the car within it now belong to him. You can take the bus. 24. And then there's the chaos of an unwanted house guest. A bird flew into my house and we both panicked for 20 minutes. It's a bizarre hostage situation where nobody is in control. The bird is frantically dive-bombing your lamps and flying into closed windows, and you're running around with a broom, flailing like a madman and achieving absolutely nothing. It's 20 minutes of pure, unadulterated mayhem. By the time the bird finally finds the open door, it ignored for the entire ordeal. Your house is a wreck. You're emotionally drained, and explaining this to your boss is somehow the most ridiculous part of the whole experience. 25. Here's an excuse that turns a simple morning into a primal battle for survival. A squirrel stole my breakfast, and I had to chase it. Let's be clear, this isn't just about a stolen piece of toast. This is about principle. You make eye contact with that fluffy-tailed thief as it scurries away with your food, and a switch flips in your brain. All thoughts of spreadsheets and meetings are replaced by a singular burning mission: retrieve the bagel. This is no longer a man versus nature situation. It's a deeply personal feud. And frankly, any boss who doesn't understand the righteous fury of having your breakfast stolen by a rodent has never truly lived. 26. Next, a perfect portrait of self-inflicted failure. I walked out of my house with a cup of tea but forgot my keys, so now I'm just locked outside holding a beverage. There is a special kind of quiet humiliation in this moment. You are standing on your own porch, a picture of civilized calm with your warm cup, yet you are utterly defeated. You take a slow, contemplative sip of tea as the full magnitude of your foolishness washes over you. You've successfully locked yourself out, but at least you're hydrated. The only thing to do is stand there, pondering your life choices until a neighbor walks by and judges you. 27. This one is for anyone who has ever attempted to apply makeup under pressure. I sneezed while applying mascara and had to start my entire face over. One single, involuntary spasm. That's all it takes to go from almost ready to looking like a member of a Kiss cover band who just survived an explosion. It's not a simple smudge you can just wipe away. No, this is a catastrophic failure. The mascara has become shrapnel, dotting your eyelid, your cheek, maybe even your forehead. There is no recovery. You must declare the entire operation a loss, wash your face, and begin the 20-minute process all over again, now with the added stress of being incredibly late. 28. A uniquely modern form of being held hostage. I got in my car, ready to go, and it decided to start a mandatory 15-minute software update. I pushed the start button, and instead of the engine turning over, the dashboard lit up with a cheerful message: "Updating system. Do not turn off the vehicle." I couldn't drive. I couldn't leave. I was trapped in my own driveway by a progress bar that moved with the speed of a tectonic plate. It's like the car itself looked at me and decided I wasn't ready for the day and needed to be put in a digital timeout. 29. An excuse born from the betrayal of modern science. I stepped outside, saw the weather, and had to completely change my outfit. The app promised sun and a pleasant 70 degrees. You dressed for a lovely spring day, but the moment you open the door, you're hit with a blast of Arctic wind and sideways rain. The forecast didn't just get it wrong, it actively lied to your face. So, it's back inside for a frantic, full-body wardrobe change, muttering curses at the meteorologist on TV while your chances of being on time evaporate like a puddle in a heat wave that was never going to happen. 30. This is a story of instant, self-inflicted disorientation. I put my contacts in the wrong eyes and had to redo my whole morning. For those who don't wear them, this may sound minor. For those who do, you know this is the equivalent of installing the wrong software directly onto your eyeballs. The world instantly becomes a warped, funhouse mirror version of itself. Your depth perception is a joke, reading a clock is a challenge, and a strange headache begins to brew. You have to abort the mission, painstakingly remove the lenses, and start the entire delicate process over, all while feeling like you've just given yourself a mild concussion. 31. Sometimes you become an unwilling participant in someone else's drama. The excuse: I got emotionally invested in a random morning news segment and had to see how it ended. You're just trying to eat your cereal, and the local news is on in the background. Suddenly, They're doing a human interest story about a rescued llama named Gregory who needs a forever home. You didn't ask for this. You didn't want to care. But now, you are fully committed. You can't leave. Not until you know that Gregory is safe and happy. Work can wait. A llama's future is at stake. 32. Here's a modern battle of wills. I got stuck waiting for my smart speaker to respond because I refused to repeat myself. You ask a simple question. Alexa, what's the weather? You speak clearly, you enunciate. And the device has the digital audacity to reply, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. A line has been crossed. This is no longer about information, it's about respect. You will not repeat yourself. You will stand there in defiant silence, locked in a technological standoff with a plastic cylinder, proving a point to an algorithm that doesn't care. It's a matter of principle, even if it makes you late. 33. Here's an excuse that combines physical pain with deep, existential dread. I dropped my phone on my face while in bed and had to check for injuries. It's not just the sharp smack of glass on your nose that gets you. It's the immediate panicked thought. Did I just give myself a black eye with a cat video? The actual delay wasn't from the pain itself, but from the frantic 5 minutes spent in front of the bathroom mirror, anxiously searching for a bruise that would be impossible to explain to anyone at work with a straight face. 34. This next one is a story of urban exploration gone wrong. I stepped in a puddle so deep it should have had lifeguards. You're walking along, minding your own business, and one confident step lands you in what feels like a small, uncharted lake, masquerading as a puddle on the sidewalk. There's the initial shock, then the cold, creeping sensation as icy water breaches your shoe. Now your sock is a soggy, disgusting mess. The only option is a full retreat for a change of footwear, because no one wants to be the person whose every step through the office is accompanied by an audible squish-squelch of defeat. 35. Next, we have a tale of digital quicksand. I got stuck in a group text argument and physically couldn't look away. It starts with a single, innocent notification. But soon, it devolves into a full-scale digital war over something profoundly stupid, like the correct way to load a dishwasher. You become a spectator to a car crash of bad opinions and passive-aggressive emojis. Could you have put the phone down and just left? Logically, yes. But you're hypnotized by the drama. You are now a prisoner of the notification bubble, and leaving on time has become a distant secondary concern. 36. An excuse born from a moment of pure, clumsy chaos. I tripped over my pet, and we both had to recover emotionally. It's a sudden flurry of limbs, yours and theirs, followed by a surprised yelp and a heavy thud. The physical pain is temporary, but the emotional damage is real. You look down at your pet, who is now giving you a look of profound betrayal, as if to say, I trusted you. You are now consumed by guilt. You have to sit down, offer apologies, and wait until you feel they have emotionally forgiven you for your oafishness. This isn't just being late, it's relationship counseling. 37. Here, we have a classic power struggle where you have no power. My dog refused to come inside, and negotiations took longer than expected. It's a multi-stage process. First, the sweet coaxing. Then, the stern command. This is followed by bribery with treats, which the dog accepts before immediately resuming its defiance. The final stage is you, standing on your lawn in your work clothes, desperately pleading with an animal that is now just staring at you, seemingly enjoying your slow descent into madness. The dog isn't being disobedient, it's teaching you a valuable lesson about who's really in charge. 38. This is a story about modern priorities. I forgot to charge my phone overnight and I refused to leave until I got at least 5% more. Leaving the house with a phone battery in the red is the adult equivalent of leaving without your pants. It's an unacceptable risk. The thought of being cut off from the vital stream of work emails, pointless social media scrolling, and emergency memes is a fate worse than a stern talking to from your boss. So you stand there, tethered to the wall outlet, watching the percentage climb with the patience of a saint, because some anxieties are more important than punctuality. 39. Here we have a story of being held hostage by social etiquette. I got stuck in an endless after-you battle at a revolving door. You and a stranger, locked in a silent, polite war of wills. You gesture for them to go. They gesture for you to go. You both take a hesitant step forward, then both stop, creating a moment of pure, paralyzing awkwardness. This isn't just politeness, it's a strategic standoff. After a full minute that felt like an hour, my only option was to admit defeat, turn around and walk away as if I'd suddenly remembered I needed to be somewhere else entirely. I didn't win the battle, but I escaped the war. 40. An excuse that speaks to a complete system failure of the brain. I went to make toast, got distracted, and forgot about it until the smell of burning reminded me I still had responsibilities. Your body was on autopilot. You put the bread in, you pushed the lever. The toaster even did its job and dinged. But your brain had apparently decided to take an unscheduled vacation. It simply did not process the information. The only thing that snapped you back to reality was the acrid smell of burnt carbohydrates filling your kitchen. The unmistakable scent of failure and a sign that you are absolutely not ready to face the day. 41. Here's a classic battle of man versus atmosphere. My car windows were so fogged up that I had to sit and wait forever before I could actually drive. You get in the car, ready to conquer the day, and you're met with a thick, impenetrable wall of white. It's like your car is inside a cloud. A logical person might find a cloth and wipe it down. I, however, chose to engage in a silent, dramatic standoff with the condensation, sighing heavily and pushing the defroster button with far more force than necessary. It's a slow, agonizing process, waiting for that little fan to win a war against basic physics, all while the clock ticks mercilessly onward. 42. Next, an experience that has tested the patience of every car owner on Earth. I dropped my phone between my car seat and the center console, and retrieving it turned into a full-scale rescue mission. That narrow, dark gap is a notorious dimension where phones, pens, and French fries go to die. At first, you think, I'll just reach down and grab it. But, oh no, the abyss has other plans. Soon, you're contorting your body into a position that would be impressive if it weren't so pathetic, jamming your arm into the gritty unknown and accidentally honking the horn with your elbow. It's a desperate, sweaty struggle against your own vehicle. 43. This one is a testament to the fact that sometimes, your worst enemy is yourself. I was so focused on making sure I had everything that I walked straight into my own front door. I had my keys, my wallet, my laptop, my lunch. My brain was running a full diagnostic checklist, ensuring peak preparedness. I was so lost in this mental inventory that I completely forgot about the large, solid, stationary object directly in my path. The resulting thud was not just the sound of my head hitting the door, but the sound of my confidence shattering. I wasn't just late, I was concussed by my own competence. 44. A truly modern form of torture. I got stuck behind someone who had never used a self-checkout before. The line is long, your time is short, and you see that beautiful open kiosk. Freedom is within reach, but then you see them. The person ahead of you is treating the scanner like a mysterious alien artifact. They're waving a banana at it, poking the screen with confused fury, and trying to pay with a library card. You stand there, dying a little inside, watching a simple transaction turn into a 5-minute saga of human incompetence. At that point, punctuality is no longer a dream. It's a distant memory. 45. Sometimes the universe sends a clear message. I dropped my toast, and it landed peanut butter side down. I needed a moment. It's a law of physics as reliable as gravity itself. If toast can fall in a way that creates the biggest possible mess, it will. The slow-motion horror as it flips through the air, the final, sickening splat on the floor. It's a moment of pure culinary tragedy. This isn't just a ruined breakfast, it's the final straw. You have to just stand there, stare at the mess, and have a serious conversation with yourself about whether the day is even worth continuing. 46. An excuse for anyone who's ever been betrayed by their own sense of direction. I tried to take a shortcut and ended up in an unfamiliar neighborhood where GPS refused to help me. Hubris. That's what it was. I know a faster way, I thought, like a fool. One wrong turn later, I was in a part of town I'm convinced is not on any official map. The houses looked strange. The street signs were in a font I didn't recognize. And my GPS just showed a blinking blue dot in a vast gray nothingness, as if to say, "Good luck, you're on your own." I wasn't just late, I was a lost explorer discovering a new terrifying suburb. 47. Here, we have a story about a brain that loves to sabotage itself. I left my umbrella at home, ran back to get it, then forgot my work bag. My morning devolved into a frantic, inefficient relay race against myself. I sprinted back inside, victorious, with the umbrella in hand. I got back to my car, feeling smug, only to realize my laptop, my keys, and my will to live were still sitting on the kitchen table. It was a perfect, inescapable loop of my own forgetfulness. At this rate, the only solution is to just leave the house wearing everything I own. 48. This wasn't just being late, this was questioning the laws of physics. My car key fell out of my hand onto the concrete driveway and simply vanished. I saw it drop. I heard the faint clink as it landed. It should have been right there. But it was gone. Not under the car, not in my pant cuff, not stuck in a crack. It ceased to exist in our plane of reality. I spent 10 minutes frantically patting down the same 3 square feet of pavement, looking like a madman, because I refused to accept that my driveway contained a portal to another dimension. 49. Finally, an excuse that perfectly encapsulates the panic of the modern workplace. I forgot I had a Zoom meeting this morning and had to make myself look presentable in record time. Nothing jolts you awake like a calendar notification informing you that you need to be on camera in 3 minutes. It triggers a frantic, 2-minute metamorphosis from a just rolled out of bed goblin into something resembling a functional, professional human. You throw on a clean shirt, splash water on your face, and pray the camera quality is low enough to hide the chaos. The camera turns on, your smile is fixed, but your brain, it's still loading. And there they are, 49 masterpieces of failure. Now, the comment section is officially open as a national confessional. We want the one you're really ashamed of. The one that made your boss pause for a full 10 seconds before sighing. Don't hold back. We're all degenerates here. If this collection of chaos made you feel even slightly better about your own life, then do the right thing with the like and subscribe buttons. We've got more human folly to explore.